Welcome to Circular Talks by Ccrave, your platform for circular goods and guidance in fashion, home and lifestyle. In today's episode, we're happy to welcome Mark from Komrads with us. Mark is the founder and CEO from Komrads, a Belgian circular sneaker cult brand produced in Portugal. Together, we will deep dive into topics like why we should all shift to a circular consumption, and how Mark got inspired to transform Komrads into an innovative circular sneaker brand. And last but not least, why apple waste is the perfect circular material for sneakers. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter to keep tuned with the next episodes and so much more. Without further ado, let's welcome Mark to the Circular Talks. Welcome, Mark, to the studio.
Thank you, Vincent.
So, Mark, we have a shared past also. We worked both in advertising, and at a certain moment we have seen the light and we said we want to use our skills for the circular economy. So tell me, what's your story?
Well, my career started in finance. I used to work in Bank of New York and JP Morgan for a couple of years. And then in 2007, I created my own advertising company. We worked for several clients and also some clients into fashion. One of the clients was a sneaker brand, and they asked us to do a rebranding of their products. So we came up with the name Komrads. We came up with some strategic exercises and things like that. And there I was kind of astonished how polluting the fashion industry was. When I sold my advertising company in 2015, this client asked me, don't you want to have the brand? Don't you want to buy the brand? Because I was really hooked to it. You know, I loved the sneaker. I loved the positioning that we made out of it. And so,
but Komrads was still a linear brand.
It was still a linear brand.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really a sneaker, general sneaker, like going through shops and things like that. And then by diving into the fashion industry and noticing that it's the second most polluting industry in the world, that you have socially unacceptable working conditions. You had to run a plaza run. Or run a plaza disaster, we really didn't want to be part of that part of the fashion industry. And so we say, if we continue with this brand, with Komrads, we need to change 180 degrees and make it a really circular, sustainable brand.
And how, so if you talk first of all about Komrads, what is the brand about? What is the story? What is the naming? Of course, as an ex-advertising guy, I'm even more interested to see what is it all about, Komrads.
The original Komrad sneaker was in fact a Russian answer to the American Converse. Converse was a basketball sneaker in the US of A, and the USSR, being one big community at that time, also needed a sneaker. So they designed, or they asked Czechoslovakia, which was one country, to design a basketball sneaker. It's still the model that we use today because it's so iconic. It's so perfectly designed that we didn't change anything on the design. And so in the 50s, this sneaker was born. It was called Cibo, which stood for Czech boots, because it was Czechoslovakia who made it. But that was kind of a general name, it was not only a sneaker, it was also boots to work in the garden, so they made a lot of under the name Cibo. When we took over the brand, we say, okay, we need to have a name which is more a name that works today, which has a meaning. And so we came up with the name Komrads, which is first of all the heritage, the Russian heritage which is in there. But Komrads is also friend. It's kamerad, in Dutch. It's we want to be a brand that is kind of like a friend,
And does it mean also that you will extend a certain moment in other products, so it's really your niche will be really sneakers, because I see different models, I see different product innovations, and we will talk later about that. So is it really Komrads will be really the sneaker brand, or it's more like a circular lifestyle brand? How do you see that?
We want to be both. We want to focus on a product, on the sneakers as a product. We don't have plans to go into apparel or something. Maybe we're thinking about socks, because it's a product which is related to our shoe. But we want to be more, because we noticed when we went into the market that a lot of customers still need education about what is now a sustainable brand. So we feel that next to being an awesome product, good design, perfect quality, we also want to be the brand that kind of is part of the solution, and that change the attitude from customers. Most of the customers are eco-conscious. They know we need to change. They know because we see the results of climate change every day. Floods, things like that. So we want to be more. We want to make them from being not only conscious but also changing their behavior. So next to saying how awesome we are as a brand and as a product, we also want to give them some information. We launched just a new collection which is made out of plastic from the oceans. I don't think that a lot of customers know how polluted the oceans are today. So one of our jobs is also informing the client and changing their behavior, taking small steps, because we don't ask the client to change the way they're living drastically, overnight. No, we ask them to do really small steps.
Mm-hmm. And so you talked about the ocean plastic. When we at Ccrave for the first time saw your brand, we were of course impressed also by your innovation in apple waste. Also, I think that was the first product that you launched, and then you went into other materials. Yes. But apple waste, how do you come to apples?
We when we bought the company in 2015, we had this Russian sneaker which was not at all sustainable. So that was our first model, and we said let's develop a sneaker which goes all the way, which is really sustainable, where we don't take any products from the planet. Where we work with garbage and waste. We did a lot of research. We worked about 3 years on making our apple sneaker. And one of the things that we tried a lot of materials. We tried, I think, almost every material. Not everything is fitted to make a shoe, because a shoe has to be strong. And so suddenly we bumped into apple leather. It was there are a lot of products which are not animal leather, which are vegan leather. And so we wanted to choose a product which is near to the company where we make our shoes, so we don't have to import from South America, those vegan products. And we found a company in Italy which made apple leather. Now they have a big apple industry, making apple juice, marmalade and things like that, apple marmalade. But there's also a big waste. The skin of the apples is not used. It used to be thrown away, and this company started to producing leather out of these apples. So we have now a product which is 50% apple waste, but of course also synthetic resin in it to make it stronger, to have a certain quality. So that's very innovating. I think we're about the only brand in the world using this full. There's some other brands also experiencing or making experiments with apple leather. And we tested a lot of things. We also took a designer in-house to make a really nice sneaker. And so, this is really, for us, our USP. It's we make shoes out of apples.
Mm-hmm. And then you went into exploration in other materials. So we have the apple waste. So that's what's the name of the model?
APLs.
The APLs. So we have the APLs, and then we have two other
then we
ones.
have the old Russian sneaker, which we call the Icon. So there we also made a big change. We kept the design, but we are using now recycled cotton, so not organic cotton, but really recycled cotton made out of our old clothes, and also recycled rubber. So we transformed this sneaker into a really sustainable sneaker. And now we are launching very soon a new collection which is called Oceans. And these sneakers are made out of recycled rubber again, but also out of plastic from the oceans. Okay. As I told you, most people don't even know how polluting the ocean is, how many plastic there is. We work together with a company called Ccrave, and
yeah, of course, with us, with Ccrave, but with Sequel, yes.
Sequel, and they have about 1,200 fishermen, and they ask them to just go fish on plastic in the oceans. Okay. They make tissue out of it, and we are now experimenting to make shoes out of this material, which is also again garbage. So all our shoes are made out of garbage.
But they look really awesome, of course. They don't look like garbage. No, and I think it's another question that I have also, because it's interesting what you say. We choose for recycled cotton and not organic cotton, and I think also there is a lot of misunderstanding of customers and consumers. Can you explain a little bit why did you go for recycled cotton and not the organic one?
All the materials we use have to have certificates. So we wanna know the origin of the product. I used to work for another company that worked with organic cotton, and it's very difficult to be 100% sure that your cotton is never been that there are no pesticides on it, or that it's really in a nice way. Some people say there is no such thing as organic cotton. Mm-hmm. So just to be sure, we choose for recycled cotton because we know the process. We also go visit all the companies, not only the company that makes our sneakers, which by the way works on solar energy. Mm-hmm. So we choose especially in Portugal a company that is also being part of the solution. And so for us it's very important that we have the certificates, that we know the origin, that also the factories where we buy our materials, that they're not too far from the factory that makes our shoes, our production factory. So that is all very important because sustainability is used often kind of as a marketing or an advertising USP. But we really want to make a difference, and so for us it's important that not only we work with the right materials, but also that the people who work for us, that they are working in good conditions, that we limit our CO2 emission. Those things are really important also for us.
Yeah, you definitely are an innovative and leading pioneer in the circular economy, I think, because it's also about every aspect. And I think also what I see with your brand, you think about the carbon offset, you think about the materials. Do you also think about to really close the loop? Because that's really something, of course, that we all work towards. What are your plans from a close the loop or a take back or end of life?
When we started with the company, closed loop was very important for us. So if we sell our sneaker to a customer, we don't sell the responsibility of the product. We sell only the usage of the product. So we want to be, as a company, we want to stay responsible for what happened with our sneakers afterwards. And so when we designed our sneakers, we went to our factories in Portugal and we say, is there a solution? And we found with one of our factories a solution. They can shred our sneakers. They can shred it, and those, the material that comes out of the shredder, we can reuse it in our soles, in the recycled rubber. So when we designed our sneakers, we didn't use iron materials. So we don't have iron rings for the laces. We don't have. We use pure recycled rubber, not rubber from car tires, because there's iron in it. So in the beginning, when we start designing, we really made our sneakers so that they can be that we can close the loop. Of course, now we are in the process to investigating how we can do it, because there's a certain price issue.
Of course.
But we hope to launch, especially in Belgium and Holland, our closed loop process beginning of next year.
Okay.
So that we ask people or we ask our customers whenever they worn our shoes, and we hope that they worn them as long as possible, that they send them back to us, and that we will reuse them in our soles.
Okay, well, I'm definitely a fan of Komrads. So maybe just as a final thought, why should a customer or a client shift from a linear to a circular sneaker as Komrads?
Because if we want to keep on living on this planet, we have to. There is no other choice. I don't think that there is. I think we are in the beginning of a big revolution. We're going to see more and more the impact of how we treated the planet. So we need to shift, and we want to make sneakers that look awesome, that have the same awesome look as all the linear sneakers, but are part of the solution and not part of the problem. And so we hope in the first place that they come to our sneakers because they look good, and because they have good quality, but also because we think about what we make and we do it very consciously.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark. I'm looking forward also to see the new editions. I'm already a fan of the current collections. And for our listeners, check it out on our platform and really make a change if you give a shit about the planet. Thank you.
Thank you.